Hero versus Ragnarok at lunch break. Life is good. Oh, life is good. Here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gressvan. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing CranKy Gaming, looking for revenge in this series, fighting his way through Ragnarok, fighting his way to the decider match. It is herO. And spawning in the top left-hand corner. In the top left-hand corner of Gressvan, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Abydos. Coming into this rematch, must be feeling a little bit confident as he comes into this best of 3, into this decider match. It is NightMare. Oh. Here we go. Ooh. We have our PvP. Both players going for 2 gate openers here into their own main bases. So nothing too crazy this time. I mean, it's Gressvan. I don't expect any of these players to go for economic gate expands. They're not that crazy. Light is all chained up. Oh. It's not my fault, Poppy. For whatever reason, GSL this season, their theme is chains. I think they're just big Dark fans. They like what he's got going on in his room, so they want to tie us up. Not like this. Get me out of here. As for now, both players are just gonna be scouting each other. The second pylon has been spotted here from both players, so there is no proxy out on the map, and no one is faking any proxy either. Not this time. And this is looking like potentially the most standard PvP we've had between these two players today. And again, I want to put emphasis on the first best of 3 that we casted. If you tuned in a little bit later, I highly recommend checking out the VODs because our first series, the first time NightMare and herO faced off tonight, was wild. It was it was crazy. I loved it. But here in the rematch, they're calming things down. Things are looking a little bit more standard. Things are looking more normal. We're all good. Just 2 gate openers into Stalkers. Got 2 Stalkers here from herO. We have 2 Stalkers from NightMare as well. So this is as standard can be. And both players do confirm each other as well. Both players, they spot each other's Stalkers. And we're expanding. Ah. We're calming down. Calming down. Well, hero's even throwing down a shield battery back at home as well. So, yeah, both players are kind of taking a more defensive role as herO moves out. Ooh, NightMare does have a cheeky probe here towards the south. Does he plan on setting up a proxy here, I wonder? Be a little bit later than we're used to, as the probe is actually potentially going to be slipping on in. Because we didn't go for a sentry opener, NightMare doesn't know if herO has expanded, so he's going to confirm, scout, and should be breathing a sigh of relief here, seeing not just the base, but also a shield battery. Meanwhile, across the map, herO just going to be poking in, testing the waters. The NightMare, he confirms that he isn't being one base all in, and now he's going for the hallucination scout into the main base to see what kind of tech herO is working with. NightMare, he's going for a Twilight Council. This will be for Blink, or it can be for a faster Blink. As I say that, I may have to eat my words because NightMare has a proxy pylon. With the completion of this Twilight Council, we can go for a Dark Shrine. Up! As I say that, herO, he comes across the proxy, he shuts down the pylon. So NightMare, if he was planning to go for DTs, he will no longer be able to do so. As he moves out through the center of the map, Blink is on the way. herO back at home going for a safety robo opener. With this, he can get into fast immortals. Get into faster immortal production. Up. Bit of a misstep. One sentry does get picked off. Adepts, they commit to a shade. They get a couple of probes before going down. And this is not for a robo first, sorry, for an immortal first. This is for a prism first. So herO can get some counter damage across the map. He only has 2 gateways, but he can throw down a 3rd gateway. and be very aggressive with this. For the time being, both players have an even amount of, or an equal production, an even amount of gateways. Yeah, herO, he checks, he sees the army, he backs off. Does a back off for now. And with this Warp Prism, we can elevator Adepts into the main base. Adepts, they can do so much economic damage if left uncontested. So herO's looking to slip in for some probe kills. NightMare is in position. He was in position. As he heads towards his natural, just to secure his third base. That is going to expose the main. No shield battery, no overcharge. Probes are going to go down. Oof. 2, 3 probes already. We can get a 4th. We can even get a 5th. And every adept survives. So very nice damage done here by herO. Back at home, he's prepared for a counterattack. He has an Immortal to make up for his Stalker deficit, to make up for his Blink deficit, as he's working on Blink a little bit later. It's also really important that he got economic damage done, just because NightMare has a faster third. Third base is on the way. So herO may have a later third, but he has a higher worker count for now. As the War Prism is still going to be threatening a drop into the main. herO's main army is pushing out as well. Looks like he's just making sure there's nothing weird going on. Just going to be posturing, looking for any kind of hidden proxies. Likewise, NightMare is making sure that he isn't being 2-base all-in. And NightMare, he does see the third, so he knows, okay, I can chill. There's no 2-base play coming my way. And it looks like he even sees the army moving out as well. NightMare should be getting ready with his own main army. Unfortunately, he's forced to leave some units in his main base. As he does bring everything over. That is going to create a window of opportunity for this Prism, for the Adepts. And here we go, herO. He does a dive on forward, diving on top of these Stalkers. We do have the overcharge, but we have 2 Immortals with the main army of herO. Behind this, Adepts do slip into the natural base. Probes are going down. And we just dive on top of the Immortals. 1, 2 of them go down. NightMare taking a great fight. As Adepts slip into his natural. Forcing a recall. He does shut down that Prism, but the Adepts, they shade into the main. More probes go down. So even though herO had a much later third, he does now have a better economy. He's now up almost 10 workers. So he's setting up back at home. Now, he did end up losing his army advantage. herO, his Immortal count was reset. So he does have to be careful. Does have to be a little bit more defensive for now. Waiting for his upgrades to kick in, waiting for his Immortals to get back into play. So NightMare does have map control. The Prism was rebuilt, and herO, he wants to go back in. He doesn't stop, Bobby. He doesn't stop. And right now, NightMare, he just recalled, if you remember. He's not really in position to defend against this. The last thing he's really expecting is another War Prism with more Adepts. Oh. As 4 more probes go down. At the same time, NightMare tries to dive in. Likewise, the Adept Harass also in the natural base of herO. NightMare does his own counter damage. Slips an Adept into the main base, and herO, he's actually losing a lot. Oh my god. 9 probes go down. It's all about the Adept Harass. As NightMare, he actually does find this proxy gateway. The War Prism's still alive in the main base of NightMare. Well, outside the main base. And here we go. herO looking for a better angle of attack as he distracts the main army. We do have a massive warp into the main base. Ambitious, the Prism is going to go down, but the Zealots will finish. Zealots are taking down those Stalkers. Oh, Immortal going to be focused down as well. Sorry, Shield Battery first, then the Immortals. herO having an overwhelming amount of Stalkers. Boys are being pulled. They have to be. As herO reinforces with Charge Lots. herO, he has less Stalkers, but he has Zealots to help make up for that. As he pushes on forward. That one Immortal of NightMare being forced back. It looks like with the defender's advantage, though, NightMare, he's holding on. The Zealots were finally cleaned up. NightMare, he's getting his 4th base up and running behind this. herO, after herO lost all those probes, by the way, he hasn't been replacing them. He hasn't been remaking. herO is very all in. He's on a low worker count and he just keeps on warping in more and more units. One way or another, the game will end. Either herO breaks NightMare or NightMare survives. As we dive on forward, we take down the Immortal immediately. NightMare, he has to back up. He has to fight with the shield batteries. As herO dives forward, takes down the shield battery, denies the overcharge. Boys are being pulled. And it looks like NightMare should barely have enough with these reinforcements. Sure, probes are dying, but that doesn't matter. Like, NightMare, he can afford to lose workers. As herO is running out of steam, there just isn't much left. Mortal will fall, and herO, he only has 4 Stalkers to his name. GG gets called, and NightMare takes game number 1. GG. After a pretty chaotic mid-game, where both players, they were both losing probes left and right, adepts all over the place. And eventually herO, he said, enough. He said, enough is enough. Going all in off of 3 bases. But alas, just wasn't able to break NightMare. GG. And now hero's in a really awkward position. He hasn't been able to take a game from NightMare yet. This entire night of StarCraft. NightMare, he's won 3 games in a row against him, and 1 more loss and he's out of GSL, which would be crazy. I do know that, because this is season 2, this is the 2nd season of this year. I know that in season 1, herO also underperformed. I know in season 1, herO did get knocked out early on as well. It would be so sad. It'd be so sad if that happened again. That's why, if I remember correctly, because herO underperformed in the first season of GSL, that's also why herO had to play through the open bracket of ESL Masters Summer in DreamHack Youngshipping in Sweden. And herO, he got knocked out in the open bracket as well. There, like, he just, in these premier offline events, so far this year, he just hasn't really been able to make things happen. He hasn't been able to perform. And now he's up against the wall. Now, now 1 more loss, and that's gonna be it. Oh boy, here we go. Diving on forward into game 2, into Royal Blood for a 2nd time. We're back. We are back. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Dragon Kaizi Gaming, DPG. Sorry, DKZ. Down in this series, 1 more loss and he is out of GSL. He needs to bring it back here and now. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Abydos, 1 game away from advancing on into the round of 8, into the quarterfinals. It is NightMare. Oh, thank you so much, Shiva Blaster in the chat. Thank you so much for resubscribing for 20 months. Oh my god, almost 2 years. Almost 2 years, puppy. Thank you. Thank you so much for resubscribing. Thank you for the support. herO also needs your support. Your boy. The darkest of dungeons, puppy. Darkest dungeon. Oh, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. As both players are going for double gate openers, I appreciate this from herO. To wind it back, if you weren't here for the start of the broadcast, the last time they faced on this map, herO went for a gate expand. herO went for a gate expand, and NightMare faked a one-base all-in. NightMare faked a one-base all-in, and he got ahead because of it, and he forced herO into his own one-base all-in instead, which herO just was not really prepared for, or not really planning to go for, I should say. This time though, herO with a much more sensible opener, going for 2 gateways in his main base. Love to see it. I still want to find a CJ Enters herO jacket from Pro League. They look so cool. True, like the CJ jackets were, they were so suave. They used to sell them. They used to sell the CJ jackets in the ESL store, but I don't think they sell them anymore. Fun fact, back in the day, it wasn't because of StarCraft, but because the Kesper teams had League of Legends teams, ESL actually sold the jackets. They sold the SKT jackets, the KT, Jinair, Samsung, and CJ. And I got the KT jacket. I got the KT roster. Fun fact. I don't think they sell them anymore though. This was back in the day. This was back like in 2016, 2015. Long time ago. Long time ago. Oh. So we are getting into this. So far, nothing too crazy. We did have a double Stalker opener coming out. Sorry, we had a double Stalker opener from NightMare. We had a Stalker Adept opener from herO. His goal here to bypass the units of NightMare to try to slip in, get a scout, and maybe even get some economic damage done. But the Adept has been spotted, and NightMare is going to shut it down. But at least herO does see the Nexus. Does see the Nexus being taken. As hero's a little bit ambitious, he has a Stalker deficit. It's going to be dancing with the units of NightMare. Meanwhile, NightMare setting up a proxy pylon across the map is spotted by the Oracle of herO. herO did go for a Stargate opener. Yeah, the Stalkers, they turn back around. Pylon is going to be shut down, and the Oracle is diving into the main. NightMare, he has Stalkers in position. Is going to zone away herO for now. So far, good movement out of NightMare. Meanwhile, the Pylon did go down. Probe also being hunted down as well. Now, I would still say that NightMare is in a bit of a better position. He has faster Twilight Council to get into faster Blink. herO needs to make these Oracles worth it, as this is a pretty big investment. He's looking for some probe kills. And with 2 Oracles, he should find some. Oh. As he does get 2 probes. Adepts commit to the shade, and herO is going to focus out another couple of probes as well. 5 in total, not too bad. Especially considering herO does keep his Oracles alive. They are regenerating those shields. At the bottom of the map. Likewise, both players are working on Blink. We're just looking for an opening, just confirming that, of course, Blink is on the way. There's no kind of weird Dark Shrine timing or anything like that. herO dives back into the main. This time, NightMare not as prepared. 4 more probes go down, and the Oracles will barely... Oh, God! 1 Oracle will barely escape. The other does go down. But that was, what, 9 probes for 3 Adepts and an Oracle. Not a bad trade for herO. Not too bad as he is forced back. And it wasn't just the economic damage, but it was also just keeping NightMare stuck back at home and keeping tabs on all the tech. as NightMare goes for his robo. You can see herO just scouring the edges of the map, making sure nothing crazy is going on, making sure that no ninja gold base was taken. Oh, as herO is pretty well set up here, going for 4 gate blink stalkers. Now both players have the option to expand, and NightMare is going to be going for his expansion. He's only on 3 gateways, so instead of getting his 4th gateway, he's working on his 3rd, or setting up for a 3rd. herO with that proxy pylon he's reinforcing is looking to snowball out of control. He has a massive, I say massive, has an even stalker count for now. 3rd base wasn't thrown down. But we can see herO, he's overwhelming NightMare. NightMare had an even stalker count, but he had stalkers in the main. He had stalkers in the main. He had stalkers at the natural. He didn't have his army all together. He's going to be having a rough trade. Eventually, he is going to force herO back. But herO, he's pulling back to more reinforcements. Again, because the Oracle was still alive, that's why NightMare had stalkers ready for Oracle harass. Not ready for that main push. herO expanding behind this. Even though NightMare was setting up for a faster 3rd, herO comes out with a faster 3rd instead. As NightMare is being bullied over to the right-hand side and expands linearly. Wasn't able to take that triangular 3rd. The depths do confirm this. herO, he can rotate around to try to apply pressure to this 3rd base. And this has got a forge on the way, +1. Now NightMare, he may have a lower stalker count, but he has immortals. He has immortals, he has force fields. And soon he's going to have a shield battery to support him as well, but it's not ready yet. I appreciate the hallucination. As NightMare does make a fake immortal, just to force herO back. Do love to see it. NightMare just puffing up his chest, holding on to his 3rd. As things are going to be settling down. But as things settle down, like, because herO had such a faster 3rd base, he's already saturated. He is far ahead in the worker count. And NightMare is falling further and further behind. There are ways to come back from this position. You can go into a Dark Shrine and try to get some DT harass. You can go into faster disruptors as well. Into a faster robotics bay. For the time being, oh my god. herO's having some fun. He's already ahead economically. Why not just double expand? He takes his 4th base and another 4th as a ninja base, taking the gold. Ay, ay, ay. herO. Calm down, Papi. herO, he takes the gold base here more often than not in PvP. Fun fact. He beat MaxPax doing this as well. It was, I think it was in a Kung Fu Cup. As the gold is on the way. NightMare doesn't know just how far behind he's about to be in the economy. It looks like he's setting up for a 3-base all-in. The reason why I say that, there's not a lot of longevity that comes with Glaive Adepts. So to go for this upgrade tells us that he's going to stop worker production. He's not making any more probes. He's not taking like any additional gases here. He's not taking his gas at his natural or his 3rd. He's just going to be working towards one big push. As Glaives just doesn't really scale too well into the late game, or into a longer game. So you can see the adept count is actually pretty high. We have a lot of adepts backed up. 16 adepts. Not gonna be enough. Oh boy. herO's gonna try and get the scout off. He does see the mass amount of adepts here of NightMare. He's aware. Getting ready. Zealots are going to be a great kind of counterbalance here for herO as well. NightMare is looking for that fight. herO has to take this slow. Ooh, he's going to lose an Immortal. Very nice force fields out of NightMare. And he's zoning herO away from his own 4th base, but NightMare, he doesn't want the 4th. He wants to kill his opponents. He wants to push into the 3rd, but we have an overcharge. We have another wave of Zealots behind this. NightMare, he is dealing damage here at that 4th base, but we need more. We need more critical damage instead. Overcharge did run out. The Archon doing a lot of damage in the back line. Or trying to. As both armies are losing their Zealots and their Adepts respectively. But herO, he's getting on top of the Immortals. He's getting on top of the army. He just has such a massive economy. He pulls the boys. And herO is just going to shut this down. There is nothing left. Only a handful of Stalkers. And even if NightMare had killed this base, it didn't matter anyway. herO, he has the gold. Like, he has the gold anyway. Links on forward. Still has a Stalker. Sorry, still has an Immortal behind this as well. And herO is going for a massive counterattack. NightMare can't really hold on. He doesn't have any upgrades. He's on 0-0. herO, he's already got +2 attack. And he's breaking the 3rd. herO going to be taking his first win here against NightMare in the entire day of GSL. GG gets called. We're going to the ace match. We are going all the way to game 3. Oh, let's go, Bobby. Let's go. GG, well played. herO even having some fun towards the end there, taking that gold. Fun fact, herO and Classic does the same thing. Very often, I almost said regardless of the matchup, against Protoss and against Terran as well, they are willing to take that gold on Royal Blood, being a little bit sneaky, being a little bit cheeky. Always a lot of fun to see. And here we go. We're getting into the ace match. And it's going to be taking place on altitude. Regardless of how this goes, I'm glad that it's going the distance. I'm glad that we're getting as much as we can out of these two players. Boy. The winner is eliminated. The loser... Sorry, the loser is eliminated. The winner moves on into the next round, into the quarterfinals. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of altitude, we have the South Korean Protoss player fighting back in that last game, tying up the series 1-1. It is herO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Arbidos. It is NightMare. It's awesome. I think I finally went to buy like just after they stopped making them. Oh, feels bad, man. Feels bad. You may be able to find them on sites like eBay, I guess, but I imagine they're going to be really expensive because they have been out of print for a long time. Especially considering that that I believe CJ Entus isn't a thing anymore. I think they got acquired by another sponsor, or they changed the name of their team. As we are getting into this, and both players are going for gate expands, as to be expected on altitude. Nothing too crazy. Economic openers from both of our Protoss players. For context, of course, maps like altitude, maps like... Not Ancient Cistern, what am I thinking of? Maps like altitude, maps like... Babylon, that's it. Altitude and Babylon, they do have ramps coming into the natural, which means it is safe to go for these more economic openers. And both players are looking to take their Nexuses and Nexi. Likewise, we have this dance. as both NightMare and herO are going to try and delay the Nexus for as long as possible, throwing down pylons and forcing out Zealots just to delay their opposing players' economy for as long as possible. Ooh, and herO is going to be forced to throw down his tech. Is going to be going for a Stargate first. Meanwhile, NightMare, his gases were a little bit later, so yeah, he's looking for that Nexus instead. So NightMare will have a slightly better economy. herO is going to have some more aggression. Actually, wait, what? NightMare actually chronos out a second Stalker first. Okay. So NightMare has actually a bit of a later base instead. Has a later Nexus. herO has a faster base. Is going to get into that Oracle production. But NightMare has a higher Stalker count. And he's going to be moving out. He's going to be quite aggressive here with these Stalkers. This may even force the first Oracle to stay at home defensively instead. herO, he's working on a shield battery, working on a second pylon. As herO, he's going to take some extra hits by these Stalkers. The shield battery is now done, and herO should be able to hold on. He does deflect the aggression. Oracle is zooming across the map, but NightMare is fully aware. He did see, of course, a Stargate. He saw it producing an Oracle. And back at home, he has a shield battery. So one Oracle isn't enough to out-DPS the shield regeneration of a shield battery. So NightMare should be okay. herO does dive in, and he's going for a stasis trap instead. Oh! Only going to connect with one probe. Yeah, not too much done here. NightMare is going to be able to hold on to his bases and get into his economy. Again, he's slightly behind in the worker count just because of the later Nexus. And herO does have a second Oracle out on the map. Was looking for more probe kills, more probe damage. He wants it, Bobby. He wants it. Up. Gonna find one. Would even find a second. Up. Oh, as he does have to be careful. NightMare is in position with these Stalkers and will zone away that Oracle. Back at home, herO just taking his gases. Working on his third gateway. Interesting. We'll see if he throws down a fourth gateway, just like he did last time. As NightMare is just trying to split up his Stalkers and make sure he doesn't sustain too many losses. As herO is backing off. And yeah, we do now see both players kind of diverge even further from this point. NightMare, he's being safe. He's going for a robo. With this, he can go into a prism or just start immortal production really early on. Meanwhile, herO, he's avoiding that tech entirely for now, and it looks like he's setting up for a base. Yeah, takes a third. Takes a very fast third base, so herO is looking to get even further ahead economically. He already had a faster natural, and now he has a faster third. NightMare, because he prioritized his robo, it means his third base is going to be a little bit later than his opponent's. Still on the way. Just later. And yeah, here he's just going to get eyes on this. He's got his hallucination out, does confirm the third base. Now he knows that his opponent isn't going for a 2-base all-in. He's going to get an eye on the gas count, on the gateways. He sees that there are only 3 back at home. So herO should be feeling pretty safe. Should be feeling pretty safe to just take up. He's got his own robo. Forge on the way for +1. Charge is being researched. herO is sitting back pretty. Oh. Especially with that stasis trap going off. Meanwhile, NightMare's in the dark. Does he not have a sentry? No, interesting. So NightMare doesn't have a sentry. Of course, he doesn't have any oracles. NightMare has very limited scanning information. He actually doesn't know the timing of that third base until now. Observer finally comes out and he sees that third base is already up and running. This also tells him that he has a later third and that his opponent has been more economic. And the pressure is on NightMare to get damage done. The pressure is on. War Prism is on the way. NightMare is going to be a little bit more active on the map. As he pushes out, though, the Oracles are... Oh, God. I was going to say, the Oracles are still alive, but they do get zoned away. Good positioning here by NightMare. Just vying for map control. herO up over 10 workers at this point. Working towards the Templar Archives, Charge Lots, Archons. With this better economy herO, he's just refining his army, making it more complex over time. Meanwhile, NightMare, less so. I believe NightMare, yeah, he doesn't have charge. He is working on a Templar Archives, but for the most part at the moment, it's just pure Blink Stalker and Immortals. No Zealots. And no upgrades either. As I just noticed, NightMare actually doesn't have a Forge. Oh, there we go. until now. So NightMare is going to be behind an entire upgrade. So this is a little bit brutal. Like, hero's just kind of getting ahead. Like, he's just ahead in the economy. He's ahead in the army, at least the army composition. He's getting his 4th base. He's got better upgrades. Now, because NightMare has so many more Stalkers, he has a more maneuverable army, so he can outposition herO. Like, even this is a little bit risky. herO is applying pressure to this 4th base. Looking for a cancel. Up. Oh, he will cancel the 4th. As you can see, NightMare does have the larger army, the larger Stalker army. So herO has to respect it. He has to be careful. Can't overextend. As herO has been able to successfully tech up into these Archons. Second Robo on the way. Purification, sorry. Robotics Bay on the way for the Disruptors, for the Purification Novas. Disruptors, Bobby, they're coming. And NightMare, he's just been trying to keep up back at home. Look, as soon as the Bay was on the way, like, my brain was like, ah, the Purification Novas. Not again. NightMare as well, also taking in that direction. So yeah, this has been pretty passive, all things considered. After some more chaotic games. I say passive, I mean, herO, he's just been like getting advantage after advantage, just macroing back at home. It does feel like NightMare is one step behind in certain aspects. He's looking for a better position. There are so many stasis traps though. He has to be very careful. It's a minefield. If even like a half-decent stasis trap goes off, then herO is going to pounce on the army. Ay, ay, ay. 5th base on the way. herO is the first player to max out. Disruptors being produced as well. Is going to bleed out a Stalker. No! We can see herO killing some of his own Zealots to make room for another Disruptor as well. And he's pushing on forward. Again, he wants to try to force NightMare to fight out in the open. First Disruptor has arrived. We'll see how good the Nova is as hero's pushing on forward. Nova does go up. Will connect with the Immortal and some Stalkers. Good connection here to start the fight. And we have another Disruptor here behind this. Nova will not connect this time. Good target firing out of NightMare. Shield batteries are running out of energy. Overcharge was already popped. Oh wait, no, sorry. Overcharge still in the chamber. Still waiting to go off. Decent Novas here. One connects with the Archon, the other does miss. Oh my god, as NightMare, he takes massive Novas to the face, and with that, herO is snowballing out of control. He has far too much. The base is going to go down. The mineral line as well. And NightMare, he just doesn't have enough to keep up. He just didn't have the economy. He's down in upgrades as well. Down in almost every aspect. Get some decent Novas, but it's too little too late. Oof. Takes down 2 disruptors, to be fair. A bit of a missed rally from herO. But herO, he killed the base. He already got what he wanted. He got the base, he got the workers. Dealt with the majority of the army. Now herO, he's rotating around. And NightMare does have more disruptors, so he could potentially take a fight. They just need to connect. That's that's the thing. They do need to connect. As herO is waiting for another warp in. Waiting for his reinforcements. Up. Not too bad. Good chunk of Zealots go down. herO trying to catch his opponent out of position. Zealots, they dive on the 4th base and they will force a cancel. herO, he's going to flirt with the army. It's going to bleed out an Immortal. Archon, sorry. I haven't eaten today. Oof. As they both trade out 1 for 1 in those disruptors. Oh no! Oh my god. herO, with a bit of a lapse in judgment, he takes 2 massive Novas to the face. Will lose the majority of his Stalkers. Uh-oh. I mean, hero's still ahead. I mean, but if that happens again, that does happen for a second time. And NightMare, he can bounce back. He just needs another good fight. Another disruptor goes down. herO. His control is kind of struggling a little bit here. So he does take down a disruptor. herO, he can afford to make some mistakes, to be fair. Like, he has some breathing room, but he's going to be careful. There's a world where, like, if these Novas connect, herO, he may lose all his disruptors. Oh no! The disruptors! Oh, massive connections. NightMare, he's fighting back. He is closing the gap. He's still behind in army supply, but not as much as he once was. Here we go, as we dive on forward. A massive connection on NightMare. Oh. At the same time, Zealot Rumba on the left-hand side is running into Archons of all things. Does get one of them. With these additional warp-ins, it looks like herO, he's still forcing NightMare back. But NightMare suddenly has a massive disruptor lead. He's got 6 to the 3 of herO. Oh no! Ay, ay, ay. NightMare suddenly with some momentum is going to take a Nova to the face. Does have to be very careful with his blinks. He will snipe another disruptor. So I'll say coming from behind, they're trying to lock down the army. But once again, herO taking a rough trade, taking more Novas to the face. Zealot's coming to reinforce. herO is pushing NightMare back. Oh god. This is still so close, but it looks like NightMare, he is fighting back. He takes down every single disruptor and the Warp Prism as well. He has momentum. herO, he may be up all these bases, but he can't remax. He can't remax fast enough. NightMare, he was down like 60 supply earlier. Or like 50 supply. It was crazy. NightMare is fighting back. He catches another disruptor. He's camping the production. Robo is going to go down. The Bay is going to go down as well. That means no more disruptors for herO. If the Bay goes down. Up! herO taking more Novas to the face. Earlier, we were saying that herO, he could afford to make some mistakes. Not anymore. Not anymore. The Bay goes down. What you see is what you get when it comes to disruptors for herO. coming in from behind. He's taking down the Warp Prism. No more reinforcements for NightMare. Not for now. Our disruptors are exposed. Up. Oh my god. Big Nova connects. But NightMare, he's in a really awkward position. He's being surrounded. The Warp Prism from herO may just be too much. Boys are being pulled. NightMare just lost every single disruptor. But he's still kiting so well. I can't believe it. herO, he is up 2 bases. But NightMare has been fighting so well. Oh my god. Takes down 29 probes. As long as he's able to deal with these 3 disruptors, I do think NightMare can win this. More reinforcements are coming out. We dive on forward. Every disruptor is going to go down. And NightMare, he's doing it. Zealots come in. Ah, hero's barely holding on. No shot. No shot, Papi. NightMare was dead. I was doing the caster thing. I was like, you know what? You know, if he takes like 3 really good fights or 4 really good fights, he can come back in this game. And he did. He did. he just did it. Oh my god. hero's got an immortal on the way. The Prism rallies in. Prism goes down. herO, he's falling apart. As I say that, taking a good trade on left-hand side. He's fighting back. He's still in this. A lot of Stalkers are going down. These are expensive losses for NightMare, bearing in mind that, again, he just doesn't really have an amazing economy. He doesn't have a 5th. He's been trying to take one. herO with the whole position probe. He's being forced back. Oh my god. NightMare long distance mining. He needs another base. He needs a Nexus. Zealot run by. There's nothing here in position. Do we recall? Can we save these workers? There's that recall. herO is going to hold on to his base. We need a moment. I need a moment. Okay, look at the units tab. herO, he's down in Stalkers. He still is up in upgrades. He has +3 to the +2 of NightMare. NightMare has disruptors, and I think that's the game changer right now. As long as he's able to preserve these disruptors, he can just out-trade his opponent. Oh my god, some good connections to kick things off. One disruptor goes down. The other is going to pull back. We can see herO is going to outposition his opponents. He's going to have the high ground here. No, okay, he does pull back. Doesn't want to get surrounded. He blinks on forward. Zealots are going down to the Archon. Zealots are coming from behind, actually. herO not taking a bad trade. NightMare being forced back to his shield batteries. But you could argue that maybe that was a little bit wasteful of herO. A lot of Zealots went down, and now he's vulnerable. Now NightMare, he can chase this down. His immortals are looking so exposed. NightMare still doesn't have that base. He needs it, Papi. There we go. Nexus is thrown down. Chases back the army. More disruptors on the way. NightMare being so cheeky. Oh god, the flanking Nova! He wants it. Doesn't quite get it. God, this disruptor is so ambitious. Oh god. He's crazy. Calm down. Does pull back. NightMare trying to harass here, but there are cannons. Oh, the disruptor is going to go down. Again, just a little bit too greedy of NightMare to try to get those shots off. Does pay for it. herO taking another base, getting fully saturated. herO taking advantage of his economy. He still hasn't gone back into his robotics bay, so he hasn't gone back into disruptors. Because of that, even though herO now has a higher army supply, I do think that NightMare has a better army overall. He's catching some Stalkers. herO, he's rotating over. He wants to take down this mining base. The most important mining base here for NightMare. He dives on forward. Takes down both disruptors. Oh, and this could be it. 2 more disruptors are getting caught out as well. NightMare out of position. He's falling apart. Forced to recall. herO, he almost threw this game. But in one fell swoop, he takes down every disruptor, takes down the stalkers, the mining base as well. And that is going to be it. NightMare fought so hard this game. He almost brought it back. It was crazy. GG gets called. And herO takes series 2-1, advancing on into the quarterfinals. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. NightMare, he was dead. It was over. He was buried, and then he just jumped back up, bounced back, fighting his heart out, getting amazing purification overs. On top of that, herO, you could also see halfway through that game, like, he was slipping up a little bit. There were moments where he rallied his stalkers forward. He lost all of his stalkers. He lost a bunch of disruptors as well. It did feel like he was slipping up from time to time, and NightMare was capitalizing on that so well. Oh my god. Again, there was a moment there where NightMare was down 50 plus supply, and he evened it up. He did even it up. He almost snowballed into a victory as well. I would say that if only NightMare had gotten that 5th base up and running faster, if he had gotten that Nexus up and running faster, then he probably would have had more sustainability as the game went longer to just keep the pressure up. GG. But I'm sure there's so many other things that were happening as well, like so many other things that both players could have worked on. herO, of course, losing that robotics bay, he never rebuilt it, so he never had disruptors, so he was down in tech the entire time in the second half of that game. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to herO for taking the series, for eliminating NightMare 2-1. But that was so close. That was so goddamn close. And a special shout out to NightMare as well, because there's a world out there where maybe he wins. Maybe he does win that game. And then he advances on and herO gets eliminated. So a really good showing there from NightMare. Even though he lost, like, I would say a really good showing, and really impressive for NightMare to 2-0 herO initially, and for him to really get as much as he could out of game 3. GG, well done. With that, we have our group. Concluding. We have it, Group B, in the books. As we switch our scenes over, just going over our night of StarCraft here today, we had NightMare kicking things off with an upset, 2-0ing herO, and Bjorn having a really close series as well against Ragnarok, taking him down 2-1. Bjorn did, of course, advance first, and it was herO advancing second. And coming into this group, I do think that Bjorn and herO, they were the favored players, but when it came to the games and the matches themselves, both Ragnarok and NightMare fought so hard, and it could have been anyone. Could have been anyone coming out of this group. GG. GG, well played. Oh. Catching up in the chat. Good PvPs. Yeah, I mean, there's always amazing PvPs in Korea, always. Things can always get really scrappy and really chaotic as well. That's why I love casting heroes PvPs, classic as well. Even creator. Always a lot of good fun. GG, well played. With that, we are done for tonight. We're done for this evening. If you are interested in some more StarCraft and some more of the CranKy Ducklings, then we are going to be live in a couple of days with some Home Story Cup replays. Home Story Cup, of course, did conclude a couple of weeks ago, but the replays have been made public, and we're going to be going over the group stage of Home Story Cup because there are a lot of matches there, and there's a lot to go over. I'm really excited to cover some Home Story Cup. That is going to be in a couple of days. outside of that, if you want some more GSL replays, or if you want some more GSL casting, then we are going to be casting GSL on a weekly basis. Every week, some GSL is going to be here, week after week, you know, catching up on everything that has been going on. I do know that, of course, GSL has, these matches have already concluded a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, we're just going over them ourselves. I did specifically avoid watching it live, to go over all these casts instead, to experience them for the first time. Yeah, it's been a lot of good fun. If you want to support GSL, they have a Patreon. I should link this as well. Hold on. Patreon. GSL, they do have a Patreon, and that is how we are able to cast, because GSL they do provide replays to their patrons. So yeah, if you want to support the Korean scene, if you want to support the Global StarCraft League, then you can do so over on a Patreon. They got you covered. They provide replay packs. They also provide some behind-the-scenes interviews as well with the players. So if you want to have a look at some of the additional content that GSL have, they got you covered. They got you covered on Patreon. So much love, much love. Alright, 5-minute replay, Papi. Oh. I'll cast it next time. I'm starving, Papi. I'm starving. But yes, Sounder, he did redeem a replay cast. Oh god, do we want to cast this now? I kind of want to cast it with Yaku. I'm going to be casting with Yaku in a couple of days. I want him to cast. Oh god. But yeah, over the weekend we have our own tournaments as well. We have Sparkling Tuna Cup on Saturday, and we have another tournament. Sorry, we have Grand Platypus Open. Grand Platypus Open is on Saturday. Sparkling Tuna Cup is on Sunday. So back to back over the weekend. We have plenty of casting to do. I'm going to be casting with Asher and with Yaku over the weekend, so it's going to be a lot of fun. We have KSL as well. We have plenty going on, and I believe Gamers 8, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Gamers 8 is this weekend. So another big premier tournament is on the horizon. Are the groups out? Are the groups out for Gamers 8? Oh no! I wanted to check on Wikipedia, but Wikipedia's down. Wikipedia is on maintenance right now. Ay. Never mind. Regardless, make sure you tune into Gamers 8. It's a big premier tournament happening in Saudi Arabia. And the best of the best players are going to be there. I believe there's also going to be a show match with MMA. I think MMA, MVP, MC, and one other player. There are 4 players that have been invited to a show match. So exciting stuff. Really exciting stuff. They're investing quite a lot into it. And it's going to be going on over the weekend, so make sure you tune in. Make sure you do tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun. Stefano, that's it. Stefano. Right, that was a surprising one. I was like, Stefano, he's going to play again? Okay, sure. Fair enough. Going to be exciting to see. herO versus herO Marine is happening. Oh, let's go. The PvT. But that is also why a lot of the Korean players actually haven't been playing in the weekly tournaments this week, like ESL Asia, ESL Americas, and KSL. A lot of players weren't competing in them. That's because they're in the middle of traveling. They're getting ready. They're heading off for Gamers 8. So yeah, make sure you tune into that. Outside of that, Nurture? No, not Nurture. Outside of that, exclamation mark socials in the chat if you want to tune in, or if you want to follow us on all the social medias. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we have a YouTube channel, and we have a Discord server as well, so you can follow us everywhere if you're interested. Our series will be over by now. Oh, too bad. Oh god. Ay. I'm not set up for a replay cast for that right now. But I'll make sure we cast it over the weekend with Asher and with Yaku. I want to have a co-caster. For it. Look, if you really want me to cast it, I want to make sure that there's someone else there to suffer with me. Because it's Sounder we're talking about. Este Sounder. But yeah, we have a Patreon as well if you're interested in supporting us. like monetarily, then our Patreon does fund our tournaments. The tournaments that I mentioned earlier that we're casting over the weekend, they are funded by Patreon. So thank you to all the support we get there. And our goal is to fully fund it via Patreon and to grow it as well, to boost the prize pool and pay out top 4 and maybe have a monthly finals. We have some goals set up. We have some goals. Otherwise, thank you so much. He makes me sound like a maniac. Oh, am I wrong? Am I wrong, Sounder? Yeah, with that, we are done for the evening. So I hope you guys have a great week. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope you guys enjoy some more StarCraft. We're gonna be raiding another SC2 streamer. Who? I don't know. Who's live right now? Who can we raid? Who can we raid? Nice is streaming. Ranger is streaming. Who else? A lot of the StarCraft streamers are streaming Diablo right now. 4GG is running a rerun? What? Okay. Oh, there's Feral as well. There is Feral. Tempting. Very tempting. Alright, well, regardless, we're going to be giving another streamer a raid, so give them a chance, give them an opportunity to maybe hold your attention and entertain you. And with that, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for your support. We'll be back in a couple of days with some Home Story Cup replays, and I'll see you then. See you then. Until then, bye. Bye. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, everyone.